On in the room. Come on in the room. Bring it here. Bring it here. Bucks lose it tonight 112-100 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Two games. We had a game Wednesday against the Cavs. Bucks won. Tonight you lose to the Cavs. Always hard when you play those. Basically it's not a back-to-back, but back-to-back against the same team. 112-100. Bucks lose it tonight to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Joe is our doctor tonight. He wrote out description. He wrote out descriptions. He gave us the medicine. And Joe Prunty. That's Prunt Dog right there in the building. Listen, man, I don't know. Tonight, sorry, we are live at the Cream City Crossovers. The Guru Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Chris King.
You can get at us at TCIIIESQ on the Twitter. And you can also on YouTube get your comments in as well. We see some comments coming in. We'll read them on air. 112-100. So let's do our game recap, which of course is sponsored by the law office of Daly M. Johnson. You know it when you need to use Daly M. Johnson. When you need defense, where?
Off the court.
Off the court. Serving South Central Wisconsin with criminal defense and injunction defense, TROs as well, traffic, OWI defense, all of that. You can get it from the law office of Daly M. Johnson, 608-893-8370. Go to his website, www.dmjlaw.com. Sign up for a free phone or in-person consultation. Right out of 411 West Main Street, Suite 110 in Madison, Wisconsin. That's the law office of Daly M. Johnson, sponsoring tonight and every night's game recap. The game recap tonight, I mean, it was simple. The Bucks in the first half were fine. I thought they were okay. They looked like the normal basketball team we've seen. Didn't quite break 30 points in a quarter, but 28 and 29, very close. So, I mean, what's that? They had, 57 or so breaking out of the first half. And then the second half, I mean, 43 points in the second half. It was abysmal. It was abysmal in the second half. Got outscored thoroughly. I think they shot for the second half. I think they're around 30% or so shooting in the second half alone. So it just wasn't good. We'll run down the numbers. Giannis, 22, 11, and 9. I believe he had 5 points and 4 turnovers in the second half. He just didn't shoot the ball a lot. I mean, he's getting finishes 9 for 13, basically shooting 70% from the field. He just didn't take a lot of shots in the second half. And I know he got into some foul trouble as well. Damian Lillard, just not good enough. 22, 4, and 3. 22 points on 24 shots. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Brook Lopez, 11 points, 12 boards, but was 4 of 14 from the field. Chris Middleton, 14, 8, and 8 assists. But again, 14 points on 16 shots. Not good enough. And Malik Beasley had 3 points on 2 shots. Both of his attempts came late into the game. Bobby Portis had 12 and 8 with a tech to go with it. Pat Connaughton has 6 points. Jay Crowder, 6 points. Cam Payne plays 11 minutes, and Joe Prunty apparently has no love for any of the young boys, Marjon Beauchamp, AJ Green, or Andre Jackson Jr., Chris Lips. They just cannot get on the floor with Joe Prunty. I am scared to think that I think that's going to be a trend moving forward. I just don't see Doc playing the young guy. We'll see. I have no idea what Doc's going to do, obviously, but we'll see if he plays the young guys. I just have a feeling that their time on the floor may come to an end a bit as coaches typically like to trust veterans. You saw at the beginning of the season, Adrian Griffin didn't play the young guys. You play your vets until your vets show you they can't play. And so we'll see what Doc does. Jared Allen tonight was good, 24 and 14. Donovan Mitchell, 32, 8, and 6. Again, just outclassed Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard named the starter in the All-Star game. A lot of people upset about that. And maybe Donovan Mitchell has something to say about it because he absolutely, it was just better, flat out better all over the floor. Donovan Mitchell played a nice game. Dean Wade, 9 points, 5 boards, 12 points, 4 boards for Karis LeVert. And Yang with 10 points and 5 rebounds. Sam Merrill chipped in 7 points, as well. So, again, tonight, the story of the game I thought was, and again, for the record, the Bucks schemes have remained the same. Like, I know people have tried to point out these different things and effort and energy, and it's funny because everybody had all this stuff to say, about Adrian Griffin the other night when the Bucks beat the Cavs. But tonight you score 100 points and you don't hear all of that. Again, not that anything would have been different. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. My point is the coaching. It wasn't like anything like really changed about the coaching from tonight to from Wednesday night to when Adrian Griffin was doing things outside of, in my opinion, the rotations. Joe Prunty has changed up the rotations a pretty fair amount. But I thought the Bucks' effort and energy was a little bit higher the other night. I thought it was decent tonight, and in the second half, I don't know if it was an effort thing. You just shot the ball well, so I mean, I kind of want to say it was an anomaly because I mean, this is again, I would say with this everybody playing with all the starters intact, nobody significant missing time, this was the worst second half performance. I haven't seen the Bucks play this poorly offensively, shooting the ball. It was just flat out bad. But again, I'll just say I thought the first half, Bucks were there, played well. I thought the whistles were kind of weird. Really kept Cleveland in it in the first half. And then the second half, again, you can blame some officiating if you want to, but you just can't shoot that poor. Like the refs didn't make you miss all those shots. So and to Milwaukee's credit, they fought and were in the game late, and could have let go of the rope a little earlier if they weren't such a good basketball team. But they did fight and stay in it. But again, Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell, just too much. You would have needed somebody to take the team, put the team on their back. And tonight, Giannis did not do that. Again, he had 5 fouls, and Damian Lillard certainly did not do that tonight. 112-100, Cleveland beats the Milwaukee Bucks. JT, what'd you see?
Everything that you saw, right? The reality of it is that yes, the second half shooting was abysmal, right? To break it down even further, first half, Chris Middleton, 3 for 9 from the field, not great. On his way to doing what, Trey? On his way to playing at the Riverside, right? 3 for 9. Here we go from and that's from the field. Brook Lopez is 1 for 6 in the first half. Damian Lillard was 6 for 12 in the first half. Okay. Interestingly enough, Malik Beasley 0 for 0. Chris, how many shots did Malik Beasley take tonight total?
2.
2 shots. Malik Beasley took 2 shots. How many did he make?
He made 1.
All right, look, that's better than everybody else that we just listed here, right? Like, I mean, except for Giannis at this point. But so think about those numbers I just gave you for the first half. Right now, I'm going to go back down and I'm going to tell you, right? Chris Middleton, we talked about going 3 for 9. Well, he finished the game 5 for 16. Not good. Brook Lopez was, 1 for 4. He finished the game 4 for 14. Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard in that first half was 6 for 12. And he finished this game 7 for 24 from the field. I mean, you're not going to win many games when you play that. And having said that, the Bucks still had an opportunity to win this game, but you're going to lose once you start playing better teams when you shoot the ball that poorly. I think that the second half, the Bucks fell apart. I'm going to call this an anomaly and a one-off. Quick side note, though. I love seeing the lobs from Chris to Giannis in the first half. Hey, they got that place rocking, boy. There's nothing that fires, I think, the fans up the way Chris throws lobs to Giannis. And man, if I'm not mistaken, were there 4 in that second quarter? I'm sorry, 4. If I did 4 in that first half,
something like that. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, so I 100% love to see it. I'm not saying that it does anything for this team, special offensively, but a great look. And yeah, this team they ran out of gas in the second half, and it was apparent.
Yeah. 100%. I also think I think I saw this in the comments too, but the foul trouble that Giannis had obviously hurt the Bucks a little bit, and that's probably why he didn't shoot as much. Thought that he had some looks that he passed up early, tried to dish it out a little too much, but I think overall it's just the product of a bad shooting night. And I agree with you, JT, when you talk about not being able to get Malik Beasley the ball. Like if you're gonna have him out there in the final stretch of the game, why is he have 0 shots throughout the first 3 quarters? It doesn't make any sense. And it's Joe Prunty. Maybe we'll see some adjustments. But it felt like Jay Crowder took some of his minutes tonight. But if that's what you were going to do, why isn't Jay Crowder in to close the game? Not really sure what that was. Would have liked to see Malik get some more shots up. He was open. They passed up on him. Brook Lopez didn't shoot the ball well tonight. Saw a little bit of that stuff that we talked about with Bobby, that black hole thing where he's just in the post and just going one and done, missing a shot, and then we got to get back on defense. Saw that in the first half, didn't like that. But other than that, yeah, like I said, it's probably just a bad shooting night, and that's probably why you saw the result and obviously the foul trouble from Giannis.
And every now and then you are gonna have those bad shooting nights, and so you chalk that one up. The standings are close in there. You would have loved to get two over Cleveland because you do have some tough stuff coming up in the schedule. Dom White says felt like the refs swallowed their whistles for us. You seen that? You seen that TG Jakes? Have you ever been swallowed up?
No clue.
Hey man,
What you're talking about.
hey man.
Ever been swallowed up?
Hey, leave my man alone. Leave my man alone. You're not gonna do Thomas Dexter like that.
Is that his
You're
name?
not gonna do Thomas Dexter Jakes.
Hey, he
like
did
that.
it to himself,
You're
JT.
not
He
gonna
did it
do
to
him
himself.
like that. Yeah.
I was waiting on somebody to say swallowed in the comments so I could do that. King of Kings says, "How is it that none of the two wings?" I don't know what. So King of Kings, jump back in and finish your comment. How is it that none of the two wings? I don't know what you want to say. He also says it's time to get younger and next. It's time to get younger next Giannis because Brook and Chris are cooked defensively. I don't think defense was really a lot of the issue tonight. Robert Henry says, tough playing the same team back to back unless they suck like Detroit. Believe tomorrow they'll bounce back versus Pelicans. It's going to be tough tomorrow against the Pelicans. Now, saving grace for the Bucks tomorrow is that the Pelicans played tonight. They lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
They put up like 80 points tonight. It was bad.
Say it again?
They put up like 80 or 90 points tonight. It was bad.
Okay.
They couldn't score the ball for
anything. They had some trouble as well. But again, New Orleans is a tough basketball team. Got some really good players. Obviously, CJ McCollum coming in, Brandon Ingram, and then, Zion is always fun to watch as well. And then, like Nick C says, Jan's foul trouble killed us. I agree with a lot of that. We get to at Twitter at KK. Oh, Zion was hurt. Zion was out tonight. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you, Dom, for jumping in there and telling us that. At KK Levin says, as amazing and great an MV type player he is, I hope Doc can get Giannis to step aside just a hint and make Lillard the alpha dog. Giannis hasn't sacrificed anything to make Lillard feel more at home. We need him to lead us in the playoffs. And KK Levin, and it's funny because there's a comment under that from Sam McAdams says it's hard to step aside when you've seen no proof that Dame is still the guy. You want the ball, go get the effing ball and shoot it. Dame out here shooting tour dates, game in, game out, while Giannis is having his best offensive season ever. So some people kind of arguing in the comments about, whether or not this is Dame and Giannis' offense. And again, that's always going to be here throughout. There was a stretch. Was that in the second quarter or was that in the third? Was that in the second or third where Dame was like cooking Jared Allen? I think that was in the second, right before halftime, where Dame had like 4 buckets in a row over Jared. I think he hit a 3 over him. He got to the bucket, hit a layup, and had 2 middies. I mean, he was, and it's like, where is that consistently from Damian Lillard? Like, why does he not do that consistently? And again, it does kind of feel like more of my turn, your turn with Giannis. And I do think what I think about the difference in a Joe Prunty / Adrian Griffin led offensive scheme, I said it before. I really think that Doc Rivers is going to go for the low hanging fruit. That's what he's going to do, and you're going to spam the pick and roll. Robert Henry asked when is Doc Rivers is coming again. So I actually got it out before. Again, I got sources. I got it out before the Bucks tonight that Doc Rivers had signed his deal, and then like shortly after that, in the fourth quarter, the Bucks announced that Doc Rivers has signed his deal. So it is officially official. I don't know. I wonder if he coaches tomorrow. I mean, I would think if you actually sign the contract that you will have coached. You should be coaching. I would think, but yeah, I just think they're going to spam the pick and roll a ton. And I think I said this on the other show. I think the question is going to be. What happens. I think the question. I don't know what just happened over there, but I think the question is. Okay.
He's celebrating. He just hit a bet. You know, we in Ohio. I put him on
Okay.
to the college basketball plays. You know, I had to get him
There we
right.
go.
You
There
know.
we go. But yeah, just finish the point. I think that the difference is going to be you're going to see that spam of the pick and roll, and again the question is going to be what happens when teams are able to stop, because again Dame Giannis pick and roll should be unstoppable. Like there should be no games. Like we're talking about the offensive output and the scoring, but I'll alert you to another one that's weird to me. Dame Lillard's a point guard. He had 3 assists tonight. Like there's no like you should be the distributor. I mean, night and night. I just look at the assist numbers. Giannis was 1 assist shy of another triple of a back-to-back triple doubles tonight. Because he's had 2 in a row. But like, why is Giannis a better facilitator? Why does Chris Middleton have 8 assists? Like both. Like I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed that too, but like both Chris and Giannis to me seem like better facilitators than Damian Lillard. And Lillard looks to be like the only thing he can do is shoot and score outside of dump off passes when he goes to the basket or off a pick and roll. Outside of that, I mean, how many times are you really seeing Dame like run the offense and get the ball to somebody for a wide open look? You know, I know it's happened a little bit, but just with the regularity you see, and I know he's not a traditional point guard, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he does a great job facilitating to me. And when he's not shooting the ball well, you just like, I mean, let me tell you, I mean, you know who he looks like? I hate to say this. He looks like he literally looks like Brandon Jennings.
Oh.
But that's what Brandon Jennings is. That's what Brandon Jennings is. I mean, that's what he's looked like tonight. And the only difference is he's playing with a superstar beside him. So it's kind of masked what has happened. But that's who he is right now to me. And I'm just jumping. And I know that he does have a couple game winners, and he's done some of that. You know, so he's had some of those great moments. You know, Dame time stuff splashed in there with it, but the majority of the time, it's
Yeah, I think there's still some figuring each other out there. I think, like you said earlier, when you talked about if they're basically taking turns and whoever's hot gets the ball. Yeah, that shouldn't be the case. Like they shouldn't be playing off of the hot hand. They should be playing as if they're playing together, right? And I honestly I haven't been too impressed with Dame's facilitating ability, and honestly he hasn't really had any moments, I guess, this season where I've been like, yeah, like this is there's games where he can just take over and drop 50, 60 points type. He hasn't had those type of games. So until I see that, then that might change the opinion on that. But I feel like he could be more all around than what he is right now.
So the good news is that we still have 38 games left.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
The bad news is you can't rush chemistry, right? It's one of them things where it's got to form and it's got to be organic, literally, right? It's got to form, it's got to be organic, and it's got to come together. And right now, what's apparent to me is Dame has no chemistry with this team at all, and that's the problem, right? That's the issue. I think we all thought him and Giannis would be like him and Chris, and that's not how that thing works, right? Because Chris and Giannis probably have, in my opinion, some of the strongest chemistry in the league, right? And I'm not being, weird here once you start talking about chemistry between men. I'm just saying that like the chemistry they have as ball players, right?
Like,
I mean, because y'all be trying to pause it. Yeah. But you get what I'm saying, like that's the issue that I have with Dame is it just doesn't seem like the chemistry, right, or better, the fusion has happened yet. And so hopefully that does come together soon. Hopefully, maybe it's another 15 games or so. But we certainly want to make sure that chemistry is there, or at least a lot stronger come March.
Yeah, and Dame time wasn't there tonight. The fourth quarter performance, whatever, all the hype, all the stuff we hear about, tapping your watch. I don't got it on right now, but
what kind of watch is it?
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of them.
Right now?
Ben 10 watches it. The The kid Ben 10 watches, the little action figure watches. Yeah, that's what we getting with him right now.
KCO.
I was thinking like,
Plastic
I mean,
joints.
is it a Rashard Millie?
Nah, not yet.
KCO.
Nah,
It ain't
everybody got to watch.
It ain't that. I like the
That's the
Personally,
Tamagotchi where you got to take
right.
care of the pet. All that, yeah.
I'm more of a Breitling fan, man.
Yeah,
Watch.
yeah.
I like that, right? But again, right. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe Dame's like a Breitling right now, but we need him to be that Rashard Millie, right? Like we need him to be there.
Man, now he it's a side.
It's a sad.
They selling those at the barbershop. Buddy pull up with the jacket, open up his jacket, and watches just all lined up. He got the Tassat.
Yeah, no, yeah. So that I mean, but again, he's just had some of those issues. Nick C says, by the way, Chris is not a better facilitator than Lillard. Lillard needs time to adjust. That's an unfair assessment. I agree with you, Nick, that it shouldn't be like that. I'm just saying for right now. I mean, again, look at to your point. There's no reason because Dame has the ball more than Chris Middleton. There's no how is Chris Middleton able to find, like you said, there was like 4 or 5 lobs in the first half. How is he able to find those? And Dame is not like that. It's just been a thing that, again, I get that the chemistry takes time, and that's why ultimately, you know how I feel with Adrian Griffin, with Joe Prunt. I'm not worried right now, Doc. I'm not worried. You haven't even hit the All-Star break, and again, I do think this team is going to change. I 100% believe that.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of rumors have been out and swirling, and again, if you don't think this team is going to change, John Horst 100% has shown he is not willing. He does not have he has the guts. He has everything whatever you want to say. He got it. He does not care about switching things up. So, like I said, we talked about the mayor of Milwaukee. What you say on the billboard? What's he on, JT?
The credit card.
What they put on?
Bobby on people's money. Bobby on the debit card.
Yeah, he on the debit card. That card work in Minnesota. That card will work in Orlando. That card gonna work. That card might work somewhere else. You can tap that somewhere else.
Is it teachers credit? I think that's what. Yeah, some credit union got Bobby on the card. But my thing is, we're in a weird spot because we have our coach fired. Adrian got fired. You had an interim, but now you have the new guy, Doc. Doc coming in. I'm not 100% sure that's going to be a seamless transition, though. Like, we don't know. We really have absolutely no idea what that transition is going to be like, and there may be some growing pains. And quite honestly, I think that is a hell of a lot of change. Because if you think about it, these players will have had 3 coaches in a short period of time, and within a matter of a few weeks, and they're about to turn this roster over. They're going to turn over. There's going to be some roster turnover. It's inevitable before the trade deadline too. So you're bringing in new players. You have new coach. I mean, I think. I mean, I hope not, but it would not surprise me if we did see some growing pains as everything kind of comes together a little bit. Just because that's a lot of change for anybody.
A change, and again, I think we talked about it, but I think the difference with Doc Rivers, he's going to come in, and the difference is he will command the respect of the locker room. 100%. They while Adrian Griffin would have needed to earn the respect of the guys, and then he didn't have the organization to back him. And then I made that comparison the other night and somebody made a good point back to me because I was talking about how in Miami's situation that Pat Riley came into the locker room and told those guys, "Hey, you gonna listen to Eric Spoelstra." And the great point, and I was saying that it's like, kind of the organization didn't do that for Adrian Griffin. And the point made back to me was, yeah, well, we don't have a Pat Riley. So can you imagine John? It was a great, I couldn't deny, that was a great point. Could you imagine John Horst walking in there and the guys, "Hey guys, you gotta listen."
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. I respect John Horst, but I saw his press conference. Nah, bro. Look, because I saw his press conference and I thought the whole time, I don't believe a word you're saying. I think you are absolutely full of it. This is you trying to act like what happened didn't happen, and you playing right now. You really play. When he sat up there, I was like, "Yeah, I didn't talk to any of the players before I did." Come on, bro. What you mean you didn't talk to the players before you did it? Come on.
Well, I get some of that because I think what you're really trying to do. It's almost like you're trying to protect. Yeah, it's like Roger Goodell. You gotta, you're trying to be that buffer and say, "Hey, no, blame me." And again, that's what I think it's good GM. Yeah, but he doesn't have that personality, that presence that a Pat Riley holds, that executive presence that he holds. He just doesn't have it. And there's nothing wrong. Again, Pat Riley's a different type of guy. But yeah, he could not go in there and command the respect. Like, so again, Doc Rivers is going to come in there and will have that, and he will have the buy-in from the jump from the team. He will. Should he will.
Lot of change, and the organization, you got to obviously keep everybody locked in, and there's got to be some transparency, which I'm sure there was, right? I'm 100% sure, but I guess I was a little offended that John Horst thought he could get in front of everybody and say, yeah, we just fired this coach at 31-13, some deficiencies on defense, we just didn't see some things going the way we want to, and then you gonna sit up here and act like, yeah, there was no conversation with the players to make that happen. Like, come on, man, this is one of the most rare things. I told you, Gar Hurd is the only other guy that I can think of in the last 20 years that got fired without finishing their first year.
Yeah. Because I would say David Blatt, but David Blatt finished his first
year.
Yeah,
he played. Yeah, he got fired in the second year. Right. I think like 40 games in or something.
Yeah, it's about the same. I think he was like 30-11 or something like that when he was fired. At He Manseth always commented in, says when you have a rotation of strictly old players, you will look old. The Bucks look old tonight. At Chris _Bucks 34 said horrendous officiating kept them in the game until half, and then the Bucks just couldn't make wide open looks in the second half. Fact, it was a few possession game anyways. In the closing few minutes was actually kind of funny. At OG Jeezy says Spider and Halliburton running around the division with Dame's chain. Do we want to pause there?
Yeah.
We want to pause there and discuss that? Go ahead. Yeah, what do you think about that? That's an interesting comment. Spider Halliburton running around the division with Dame's chain. And hey, and you could add, so I guess it's not division. Let's say you could add Brunson in there too, but go ahead.
So in terms of Halliburton, look, I love his game. I love what he does. But I saw a tweet the other day that said Ben Mathurin may be more important to the Pacers than Tyrese Halliburton, and look, that may be true, especially when you add another big. And so I wouldn't be that eager to go ahead and just crown Tyrese Halliburton the throne already. 40 some games into the season? Yeah, they beat the Bucks, but we had what we had going on with Adrian Griffin and stuff like that. Donovan Mitchell's been very inconsistent as a player. I feel like I don't think that this is his division by any means, especially when he probably doesn't even want to be in Cleveland. Like once his contract's up, I feel like he'll probably get out of there on a one-way ticket. So I wouldn't be so eager to say that that it's their division yet. But definitely, I think it does raise a question, like, should we have maybe tried to get younger instead of dealing Drew Holiday for a guy who's the same age or even older? So, I don't know. Interesting.
Hey, I mean, but I take his comment to take it face. The young boys seem to want it a little bit more. It just look, they're not lying, right? They that's true. I mean, I don't know. Dame got to call the basketball version of Jay Prince to get his chain back. Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe you got to hit mob ties, hit wherever it is you got to hit to get your chain back. Because he's not lying at all. I think the thing is right now, and I'll still argue, part of what we're judging Dame by is reputation. Part of the way we look at him is reputation. You take reputation out of it, I don't think my man is wrong. Like, yeah, Halliburton's out the gate this year looking like he won. Halliburton is what? Easy. Top five point guard? Top three this year?
Tyrese Halliburton has been probably objectively the best point guard in the East this year. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's what I'm saying in the league. I mean, I think you could argue top three. Top 3 point guard in the league, top 5 at the worst. Like,
yeah, you could argue that. Because I would say Shea. Well, I probably say Shea, and then maybe Luka
right now, just because they're winning.
You put Brunson over him?
Yeah, I put Brunson.
But again, the point is like it's arguable, right? Like, I mean, it's not indisputed, but it's arguable that he's in that mix, right? Like, there's no question about how well he's played. So yeah, like Dame's got to tighten up. But I do think that the reputation thing works against Dame in a couple different ways. One, because of our expectations, and then two, because you the OG, you supposed to, and it's a tough spot for Dame to be in. I think the real question is Damian Lillard declining?
Well, that again, and that is a great question, but I think that's going to be answered. Well, here's the thing: you asked before, you talked about the chemistry and the connection and how is it declining or is it? Yeah, I used to be able. Yeah, I could put up 30. I could put up 30, 32 a night when it's just me with the ball, and now I got to play with Chris Middleton. I got to play with Giannis, and so it doesn't look the same. And so, do you have to give him that time, and how much time do you give him to acclimate himself to what the Bucks are doing? I want to get to another comment here from Sabaz Vasco _MKE. Says terrible coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Prunty wasted a timeout on that offensive foul, allowed Cavs runs without calling timeouts, didn't give shot attempts to Beasley. Chris Dame were terrible. So, so getting back to tonight. Tonight was interesting. So Prunty, now, as much as people, talked about Adrian Griffin and the thing, and I think most of the issues with Griff were people didn't like, scheme wise, buy-in wise, and culture vibes, locker room kind of stuff. That was kind of the issue. I never saw where like there were too many, and I think there was that one issue, that late game where do you foul, do you not foul? But I'm trying to think of like, and I guess there was the game. I'm now thinking about, there was the game in in-season tournament where people got upset about organization or lack of organization late into a game. But I can't remember too many scenarios like what Prunty did tonight, where I mean, just it was pretty bad. So and again, I like Joe Prunty as a guy. I don't think he's ever. There are some guys who are just career, lifetime assistant coaches, and that's what Joe Prunty is to me. He's a lifer. I mean, again, probably a great guy, but he's just a lifetime assistant. You like him on your bench, but you don't really want him to be your head. Well, I was gonna say your head guy, but
What did I?
Okay.
What did I say? What did I say when people were talking about firing Adrian Griffin earlier this year and they were going crazy? I said, you don't have a single guy on this bench worth a damn to be the interim. You don't, right?
Well, right.
And it was clear that the moment was too big for Joe Prunty tonight. And the lights was a bit too bright.
Well, yeah, I wanted to go through that. And I like the fact that unlike Adrian Griffin, because remember the time when Adrian Griffin got the 2 texts because he was like, "Oh, I need to defend Giannis more," and
that was because of what happened the night before. Yeah, so right, the intention got thrown out.
Right, and then he got thrown out on purpose, and it was just kind of like weird because it was like you didn't really need to do that, but it was like you said it, so that was like a rookie head coach thing to me. It didn't look organic. It was like it was like he went to the game and like, I'm gonna get thrown out tonight. Well, Joe Prunty doesn't. Like, Joe Prunty wears his emotions a little more in his sleeve, and so Giannis hooked, I think it was Jared Allen, and Prunty I don't even know if he like asked the people on the bench, because usually you ask the guys, hey, don't want to get a review in. Prunty just immediately runs on the court and starts waving, give me a review. And like he's all emphatic about it, and it was a terrible review. It wasn't even close. And like 99% of the time, I'm obviously a Bucks homer, so I'm gonna side with the Bucks. It wasn't even 50-50. Like Giannis clearly hooked. I think it was Jared Allen or whoever it was that was defending him, and so Prunty waits. So what happened there was, and that was in the third quarter. You lose your timeout, so he lost the timeout, and then in the middle of that, I believe he had to take Giannis out because like Giannis picked up his third foul, his fourth foul, whatever it was. And the Cavaliers were on this run. And then Joe Prunty couldn't call a timeout because he just wasted his timeout on a terrible challenge. So you remember the Bucks went on like an 8-minute stretch. That's why I say this was like one of the worst offensive stretches in the second half that the Bucks have played all year. The Bucks went on like an 8-minute stretch where they didn't score a field goal. And Prunty didn't call a timeout through that entire, like, it was very Jason Kidd-like back in the day where, like, yeah, I got to let the guys play through it. And at least Jason Kidd had the excuse of, I got young guys, so I want my young guys to play through it. But it was really weird that Joe Prunty, so he had 2 options. It was either you take another timeout and now you're down to, I believe you would have been down to 3 for the rest of the game, or you sit on it and basically that's what he did. He sat on it, and I think the Cavs went like a 17-2 run. It was something crazy. But yeah, it's a good point from Savasco. That was a very bad moment tonight from Joe Prunty.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think, and maybe Prunty gets a little bit better. What do you think? You think Prunty has a few more games in him before Doc actually ends up on the sideline? I don't expect. I would be astonished if he ends up on the sideline tomorrow. I think that's a bit much. He just signed his contract.
Maybe tomorrow you get Prunty in, and then
because you don't even have time to practice with this squad,
right.
and you just gonna be the coach. Like what? Like
at least when they make the trip out west, he'll probably be the coach at that point. So,
because if you haven't signed your contract, I mean, I guess you technically really can't be running practice unless he's just been running practice there for the last week, and then it'll work out. But
and I don't think he was, because I think I heard that before tonight, Giannis and I think Chris or Dame or something, I think they'd only talked to him by phone. So he just got to Milwaukee tonight. So
so you definitely not, because he probably at the Fister right now kicking it. So yeah, it ain't no way you're gonna be like, you're gonna show up the next day and be like, all right, guys, here's what we're gonna do tonight. You'll be like, what? Like, come on, man. You don't even know where the building at. Come on, man. Like, you don't even know where the film room
at. Nick C says the spacing is bad. Lillard's not washed. They don't clear the side when they play pick and roll with Giannis, and they're constantly getting into problems when the other team is hedging aggressively. And again, that's going to be one of the things that, again, Doc Rivers is, and I do believe, Nick, like I said, that's what we talked about. I think Doc Rivers is going to clear the floor, and again, I think it's going to be a lot of like we talk about all these open shots and guys getting shot. I think this team is going to get a lot. It's going to be a lot of pick and roll and guys just standing around watching and seeing whatever the hell Dame and Giannis do. And again, I think that's good. I think it's going to work pretty well. But I got a feeling, yeah, they're going to be doing what we doing right now, looking and waiting to see somebody passing the ball.
Which, I mean,
that's the Philly offense. It was James Harden and MB going to work every night, and everybody else getting where you fit in.
It's the hybrid Bel Air Academy is what that is. You stand around, get out the way, right? Stand around, get out the way. The two people don't have two people standing in the same spot.
Yeah. Few more comments, and I want to get to the All-Star selection. Big Four, Fin 5 says the bench is non-existent. Dame so far in the Bucks uni is a bust. Would you consider him a bust? They have a starter who doesn't like to take a shot, and they have 3 coaches on the payroll. Other than that, I look forward to a long playoff run. So, would you consider? It's just hard to say. Like, again, people use words like the Bucks season's been a disaster. Yeah. You fired the coach, and the Bucks are 31-14, and they have 2 all-star starters. I wouldn't say Dame's been a bust. I feel like that's a little harsh.
I would. There's nowhere near. I would say nowhere near he's been a bust. I think if anything, I think we just expect more, right? I think as far as meeting expectations, he has not. But to say total bust, no, nowhere near. You can't do that. And I mean, keep in mind, guys, we don't really care about the games right now. What we care about is the playoffs. Well, this team has been so good, the last 6-7 years. Who cares about? I mean, seriously, like at this point, who cares how we look as much in the regular season? Because we care about that postseason, and what we really care about is that second, third round in the postseason, right? Like we're not. So no. I'm nowhere near going to call Damian Lillard a bust. I still think he is a tremendous player, a phenomenal player who's going to have a big impact on our team later this year.
Oh, I think he will 100%. But I also think that he could have shown more throughout these 40-some games. I think we've been left underwhelmed at some points in this season. But I also think that, I've already said this before and earlier in the season that they're still figuring each other out. And, there may be some points to talk about later on in the season if these issues are still going on. But I'll give them a little bit more time. So.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm happy about for these guys is that they played a lot of games. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times you see guys get together and, somebody play 15 games. You remember the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie, Katie, and Harden and how that looked. And then the Suns right now, Beal's out all night. And then the Clippers, they always have Kawhi or Paul George out or something like that. These guys are together, and they've been, outside of Chris Middleton, they have played a number of different games. Let's get to the All-Star stuff. Starting lineups were unveiled for the 2023-2024 NBA All-Star game. LeBron James obviously named his 20th All-Star game, passing Kareem for the most All-Star nods in NBA history. The West is Joker, KD, Luka, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And in the East, Giannis is the captain, had the most votes with Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, and Tyrese Halliburton. Damian Lillard, let's talk about Damian Lillard. The first time so basically, the only way Dame Lillard's been able to be an all-star starter, what he essentially had to do was get to the East because he kept getting beat out by Steph Curry. And so Dame, can you believe this is his first time starting in the All-Star game? But again, you think, could Donovan Mitchell have been there back with Halliburton? Again, he's missed 9 games. I think obviously, there's questions, and you do have the question about Jalen Brunson, and again, and I think that was a lot of the issues. Your boy JT, your boy Frank Isola, was in my DMs today.
Why we beefing with Frank, man? Why are we beefing with Frank? I mean, is there anybody left that I like that you just don't come at, man? Like, yeah, all right. So you and Frank are going at. Go ahead, tell the people what happened with you and Frank.
It wasn't that serious, but I like listening to Frank Isola, Brian Scalabrine in the morning sometimes, and Frank Isola, was basically crying about the fact that Jalen Brunson didn't make the All-Star selection, or wasn't an All-Star starter over Damian Lillard. So I just tweeted him and said, hey man, so the way Dame made it over Lillard, again, the players vote, media vote, fans vote. Basically the player and media vote for Dame and Brunson was tied. They were basically statistical tie. And so the fan vote, so I think the media is 25%, players are 25%, and then the fan vote is worth 50%. It's an All-Star game. It should be like, this is what the people want to see. And so, can you believe it? The tiny market of Milwaukee outvoted the big conglomerate of New York City, the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. You're telling me that and you had he was complaining like, I can't believe that was a snub. So I just tweeted and said, hey man, no reason the people out in New York didn't outvote the people in Milwaukee. I can't help that. If you were so upset about this All-Star selection, tell the people. And again, Frank Isola, he does commentating. I think he does the pregame and postgame show for the Brooklyn Nets. I said, tell people to vote. And Frank jumped in the DMs, man. He jumped in the DMs. I'm not gonna show him, but he said, I don't care who starts. I don't care. I don't know his tone. Let me not say. I don't care who starts. I'm giving a vote. I believe Brunson should be starting. The fans voted Lillard. If that's what the fans want, so be it. The game is for them. And again, I like Frank, so cool. No issue with the response. But I just I didn't know why I had to get DM'd that. But again, cool. I like Frank. I like Frank.
Like what's up? Like, I see this. Like, I get it. I wholeheartedly get it. And I like the fact that Frank had to get that off his chest. Frank said, I'm not letting this one slide. I'm gonna hit your DM. Your DMs are open. I'm hitting your DMs. Right? I'm like a kid in Lagos trying to find a way to get your credit card numbers or whatever, right? I'm gonna hit your DM. You know how they say the little fisher DMs?
Deep in the bag. Okay.
Deep in the bag.
Right. Yes, man. Right.
Nigeria.
So yeah, bro. Yeah, you can't trust them at all. But yeah, I like the fact that he got it off his chest, and then now I'm waiting on your response. And man, let's have a conversation with Mr. Isola if we can.
Hey, shout out to the fans of Milwaukee voting Dame, because I don't know, hey, I don't know if the performance really warranted that, but we'll take it. And, that's just more attention, more national media attention to what this team's doing, and positive attention at that. I felt like, a ton of the national media has just been so critical about this Bucks team when, here on this podcast and in this postgame show, we do, I know, on losses like this, it's kind of hard to stay positive, but the whole thing is not falling like you would think the national media tries to make it out to be, and it's not. So I'm glad that we get a little bit more shine, and people get to see Giannis and Dame on the same, hopefully same team.
That's a great point, Chris. Because I mean, there's no way you listen to our show and don't think that it's extremely positive, especially with the way that again you can look around, different. I'm not saying people's shows. Like, I'm just saying around the media, not just the media, but the certain fans. You know, it's very negative. It's very negative, and so yeah, I think that. I think kudos to all of us for being very positive. Again, listen, come May, it can get very negative, but right now, I'm gonna keep the positivity. Mono Orlando says the amount of pressure on the coach and players is insane. Just because you have a bad couple nights doesn't mean you are a bust. 30-14, a bust. Come on, I agree with you, 100%. I want to get so real quick. Let me just give these averages here. Dame and Jalen Brunson. Brunson's averaging 26.6 a night. Dame averaging 25.3. And that's why, honestly, I didn't feel too bad about it because it wasn't like Brunson's just, I mean, just, it wasn't like his numbers are just insanely better. You're averaging a point better. He is shooting better behind the arc, 42.3% to 34.7%. And then again, you look at Donovan Mitchell, who is sixth scoring league at 27.6. So just comparing the three of them, he has 6.2 assists, 5.4 rebounds. The difference, and again, I know that Dame is shooting 42% from the field. He has 11 games right now, 4 or more turnovers. But again, I think the record speaks for itself. The Bucks are 31-13. So I think, those things kind of counter each other. Yes, maybe Donovan Mitchell's having a little bit better of a year scoring wise and statistically. Same with Jalen Brunson. But you look at the record, and again, like Dame has had his clutch moments. You look at the record, and I think you could justify either of those guys getting in. Even though I think you could statistically, I think you could easily argue that Halliburton's been better and Mitchell's been better, Brunson's been better, and then you could probably throw Dame in there. But counter that with the Bucks record, and I don't see an issue. I just don't think it's a snub. That's all. Like I'm
I think you're right, right? But I don't think people want to look at it holistically like that. I think people probably literally want to look at a stat sheet, or they want to go, they want to kind of truncate the criteria so that you're not looking at the big picture here. If you are upset over that, I mean, quite honestly, I think any of these guys could have been a starter, right? Like I wouldn't argue with Spider Mitchell, especially if he was a starter. I wouldn't argue if Brunson was too, right? Just because it's like, all right, I could see that either way. But hey, the fans of Milwaukee came through. And the next point I will make, though, too, by the way, I don't really like the whole national media versus non-market media argument, but I will say one thing that I find about the national media when they talk about this Bucks team, I always question the intellectual honesty in what they're saying, because how many Bucks games are these guys watching? How many Bucks games are these guys? This is the point you made to David Aldridge. How many Bucks games? We watch every single Bucks game. So if we're watching every single Bucks game, we're seeing everything 99 out. We're not just watching the ones that come on TNT. So like if you're going to cover the team and you're going to offer your perspective, right? You're offering a perspective based on a very limited amount of games, whereas the people who are there kind of in the trenches and are watching every game, they're going to have a different perspective because they see more. And I think they can add a little bit more to the conversation and give a full picture of what's really going on with the squad. And I just, that's the only kind of gripe I have a little bit about some of the national media guys.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that at all. James Henderson says, "Who really wants to see Brunson start in the All Star game?" I don't know. I
Knicks
think
fans.
right. Clearly
Knicks
not.
fans. They're the
Villanova
most.
fans.
They might be some of the most delusional fans in the world. Knicks fans by far.
Clearly, they didn't want to see him.
Haven't won a title in
Yeah, you
40
can't vote him
years.
in there.
Yeah, they clearly didn't want to see him enough. Yeah.
No.
No, I like his game. I think it's pretty aesthetically pleasing watching him come off those pick and rolls, lefty little floater.
Oh yeah, no,
he's nice.
Dog.
He's nice.
Let me ask you this: would you take the guy that replaced him in Dallas because he left? Would you take right now Kyrie Irving or Jalen Brunson?
Oh, as a facilitator and a team player, yeah, I'm going to Brunson for sure. There's too much off the court stuff with Kyrie, and that I probably wouldn't want to carry that baggage. And Brunson's younger, so I'd take Brunson.
Yeah, no, I would take Brunson 7 days a week
Uh,
and twice on Sundays.
I think the production you get with him and the off the court, I think it's a much safer bet. I personally wonder how Kyrie fits in that locker room in Dallas, right? Or they just leave him alone. They just let him do his thing, and they got Luca, Kyrie, and Co. and kids. Yeah, I would be very concerned about the chemistry fit with Kyrie Irving. I would probably go Brunson, unless I was on a team in the middle of a title run and I just needed a guy. But even then, I think you still probably could take Brunson over Kyrie in that case.
King of King is in the comments tripping. He says, send the Wisconsin boys home. Get Tyler Hero and Jordan Poole. No and no. With Terry Rozier, send Dame where he wanted to go anyway. So okay, so
Not sure how
this
that
is hold on.
works.
We have breaking news from Adrian Wojnarowski. A lot of people asking when is Doc Rivers going to make his debut? He will make his debut Monday against the Denver
Hmm.
Nuggets. So Monday against the Denver Nuggets, Doc Rivers will make his Milwaukee Bucks coaching debut. So we will have Prunty, the Prunt Dog, will be back at it tomorrow night, and then. Okay, and then just so we'll talk about this later, but just programming note again for you guys that are going to watch us or listen to us on 97.3 tomorrow. Doc Rivers press conference is at 11:30, and so we're thinking about we're gonna air it. We should air it live tomorrow. So if you're listening to 97.3 the game tomorrow, RTs and Qs 10 to noon, the Doc presser will air, and we will have that on and fit that in as well when Doc Rivers goes live in Milwaukee. Okay. The Bucks lose it tonight, 112-100. A tough one tonight. Again, the offense just wasn't good. I let you guys start off. Let's give out some game balls and see where we land here. This will be interesting. Who are you going for game balls?
JT.
Man, you know what? And I don't like doing this because I always feel like the game ball is reserved for a Bucks player. We are the Cream City crossover. Having said that, it was just ugly on both sides. They didn't shoot all that well. There's a lot of these guys on Cleveland that did. I'm gonna get a game ball. I'm gonna get a game ball to the fans who spent money to watch this mess. That's what I'm doing, man. You know what? Here, it's a game ball, man. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna get it. That's what I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it to the fans who spend money to watch this mess. Because everybody on the Bucks absolutely stunk tonight. Cleveland, I mean, some of their guys, the numbers look good, but when you break down the numbers, you're like, good grief. I mean, my man Spider Mitchell shot 12 for 27. Jared Allen shot 9 for 20. I mean, yeah.
It was a clunky game. I
Yeah.
agree.
The
Um,
fans that stayed for this mess get the game ball.
Thinking about this, looking at the box score and all this, there's really nobody that deserves it. But I'll go with an Ohio guy. Karis LeVert, he hit some tough shots at the end. He shot 3 for 10 on the day, but he hit some tough shots that felt like daggers. So I'll just go ahead and toss it out to the Michigan guy and the
To,
Columbus, Ohio native. He hit some tough shots.
to your point, the Cavaliers almost tricked this game away,
Yeah,
and and the Bucks got it down to 6 with I think like a minute or
48,
so.
like something like that, like more than a minute.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you said it's a minute 48 left to play, and the Bucks went on like a 7-0 run to get it to 6 points, and Karis LeVert hit. I mean, I didn't think that it was contested.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a rainbow three, and just kind of when it was one of those dagger shots as you talk about, they kind of knocked it out of the park. Minute 48 down 6 with the ball is a big difference than minute 48 down 9. And he really kind of sunk the heart out of the Bucks there. Yeah, Don White says that LeVert three killed me. Yeah, I mean, again, what do we say, JT? Get me to a couple possessions either way. Like Damian, again, that's why I don't call Damian Lillard a bust, because as bad as Damian Lillard's played or as average as he's played or whatever you want to say, six. Tell me you don't think every time at the end of a game, 6 point game, 3 point game, tie game, down two. What? Tell me you don't think when Damian Lillard shoots the ball is going in. Like you can't say that. So yeah, 100%. That three really killed things for the Bucks there to end that game. Listen, man, y'all playing around. I'm gonna get a game ball to Donovan Mitchell. You know he did his thing. 32, 8 and 6, one steal, one block. I know he was 12 for 27, but he was 6 for 12 from three. Was just just great basketball from Donovan Mitchell, and part of the reason that the Cavs won tonight. Again, the Bucks, your starting guard that you brought in, put up 22, 4 and 3. Their guy put up 32, 8 and 6. It's gonna be tough to win when guys are playing at that level. So I will give him the game ball. Bucks lose it 112-100. Let's do a look around the NBA. Spurs beating the Trailblazers right now. The Pacers beat the Suns, but check this out. So the Pacers beat the Suns. All the big three for the Suns played. Devin Booker put up 62. How do you lose when Devin Booker puts up 62 and all of your guys are playing? That's insane. 133, 131, and the Indiana's playing without Halliburton. So listen, they are very dangerous. That is a dangerous team. And again, not that I'm not afraid of them in any stretch of the imagination, but damn it, you getting lined up. They, I don't know where they're gonna end up seeding wise. I'll tell you this: I'm not afraid of them. I wouldn't want to be the ones to get them first, though.
Yo,
I want to get a series under my belt before I got to go play them boys.
I got a question, right? I got a question. I just gotta go ahead and throw this out there. Which team is lining up to be the more disappointing team in history? The Brooklyn Nets when they got Harden, Kyrie, and Durant, or the Phoenix Suns with Booker, Beal, and Durant?
Well, this is
Which team is going to be more disappointing? Because, boy, I'm going to just tell you right now, I can already see the letdown coming in Phoenix. That letdown is coming. I can see them losing in the second round. Oh, yeah, I 100% could see that happen with the Suns team.
I think
Phoenix.
Also there's more rumblings that they're trying to get Miles Bridges, and it's just like it's so if that move happens, then that's the biggest bust of all time. Like you have no excuse as to why you're losing games with that core.
Is there legs? Does that rumor have some? There's some real smoke with that.
Because Charlotte wants to get him out because Charlotte apparently is not going to pay him. After what happened in Charlotte, and so I think they are trying to get it. Yeah, I don't blame either. Go ahead because Brandon Miller's looking good. So Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, and then you kind of see if you can get something else. See what's going on. Brandon Miller looks good. I'll try to tell you, Chris. You was hating on him. B Miller.
No. Come on now. I love B Miller.
You wasn't hating on Brandon Miller?
No, I was hating on Scoot. I think the G League Ignite just produces constant BS. But I love Brandon Miller. I love Brandon Miller. Tonight he didn't play well because he's in foul trouble. But that's some stuff he learned as a rookie. So I think he's probably the future because he provides more of a scoring punch, and then the defense will come after. I feel like Miles Bridges is a little too inconsistent. I feel like Brandon Miller's a little bit of a stronger asset on the offensive end once he gets a couple years under his belt.
I like what they're doing in Charlotte, man. I'm glad they got Terry Rozier out of there. They're gonna probably get Gordon Hayward out of there. I think they're gonna obviously. It's kind of another rebuild. It's a long rebuild in Charlotte, but I do think they're going to get it right because I do think they got LaMelo right, and I think they got Brandon Miller right. So they're building a strong foundation out there.
Hey, what's the kind of like consensus over there about Brandon Miller? Because wasn't after draft night, I know he had the off the court stuff or whatever, but
I think people are starting to see it.
Yeah, they're starting to see it. All right, good because they booed. They were in the restaurants and the bars booing the pick and all that. Yeah, that's not it.
Yeah, Dom White says. Brandon Miller is a shooter for sure. He didn't shoot anybody. That's messed up, man. That's messed up.
Better than that.
So another big night. So we're saying 62 came from Devin Booker. Anybody know how many Luka Doncic had tonight?
73.
73 of them big ones. And they won by 5 points over the Atlanta Hawks. Another guy, my guy, I think my guy Jay Kidd is gonna be out of a job depending on what happens in the postseason in Dallas. But we'll see what happens with that.
Hey, Doc can make a space for him. Come on.
I like Jason Kidd as an assistant too. We'll see what happens there. Clippers win 127-107. Thunder beat the Pels 107-83. The Bucks play the Pelicans tomorrow night. Do we know is Zion playing tomorrow? I know he was out tonight. Is Zion playing tomorrow?
Look, you never
I
know
haven't
with
even looked.
Zion. Like,
It's
man, he's
he's getting
just a
king
weird
cake.
guy.
Is Mariah Mills in town?
Hey,
Oh
now.
no.
Um,
I'm just going to ask that question.
I have
That
no
might
idea.
the answer to that question may lead to an answer for if he's going to play or not.
I think tomorrow, man, you got to keep JV off the boards because he's a board man, gets paid type of guy. But yeah, as long as you can kind of control CJ and Brandon and I think you can live with Brandon Ingram cooking on you. CJ get his points, but Bucks. I really like I said without Zion Williams, the Pelicans don't scare me at all. So you should be able to get a win. Depends on. Let me see. I don't know if anybody in the comments knows if Zion is going to play. Let us know if you have any of that information. Um, the Magic lose to the Grizzlies tonight, and then the Spurs beat the Trailblazers. So interesting stuff there. King of Kings says the Bucks will be the biggest. So he says in all caps, the Bucks will be the biggest letdown without a trade. They're not. But no, but see, yeah, Chris, Giannis, and Dame is not the same as KD, Bill, and Book, and it's not the same as Harden, KD, Kyrie. I don't think. Um, then Dom says Bucks gonna need to build more space for all the assistants they'll have. Do you think any will be dismissed? So good question. So I don't know if I don't know if we talked about it. That Dave Yeager's gonna join the staff for Doc Rivers. I know somebody else has joined the staff as well from Doc Rivers. And the question on the floor is, do you think any will be dismissed? That's a good question. So if you remember, Mike Budenholzer had a very large staff. He had like 18 assistant coaches, one of the largest staffs in the NBA. I mean, they had more coaches on that
Yeah,
staff.
because he had a second row too, right?
But
Didn't he
yeah,
have
everybody has a second row, but his
like-
row is deep.
Yeah. That's what,
So he had more coaches than players. Like he had literally 18 coaches on the staff. Contrast, Adrian Griffin had one of the smallest assistant. I don't know how many people they had, but they had one of the smaller staffs in the NBA. And so, yeah, do you think anybody from the Bucks staff gets dismissed? Yeah, I know they got Mutombo. They got Josh Oppenheimer, which nobody likes. Again, you got Joe Prunty. So yeah, I wonder what happens with the Bucks staff right now. I was gonna see if I could look it up. Yes, their coaching staff. They had Terry Stotts, obviously, Joe Prunty, Patrick Mutombo, DJ Baker, Nate Mitchell, Vin Baker, Josh Oppenheimer, and Sydney Dobner. Dobner is the first female assistant coach in Bucks history. So I think it's going to kind of be like, my opinion is, it's going to be, if there's any like Griff loyalists, they're going to be gone. I just don't know if like anybody's like a Griff loyal. Like Josh Oppenheimer's been on staff forever. Prunty's been on multiple staffs. So I just don't, I don't know, what that looks like. But yeah, we'll see kind of how that goes. Because only hired like 2 coaches right now. So
yeah, I mean, and maybe you keep a couple now, and you leave them and you dismiss whoever you're going to. You actually fill out your staff at the end of the season. I'm not sure because there's probably some other guys that he wants that may be on other rosters right now, or maybe on.
Like Sam Cassell, who's in Boston right now. Sam Cassell's always been with Griff. Always been with Doc Rivers.
Yeah,
so
correct.
That'd be interesting.
Right. And I just be straight with you. I find it hard to believe that Adrian Griffin would have any loyalists on the coaching staff if he don't trust nobody.
Yeah, ultimately, I think Doc Rivers will get the end decision. So we'll see what he does. That's normally how it works anyway in the head coaching business. So we'll see what he does with his staff. And obviously, I think Joe Prunty may stay because being the interim head coach, I mean, he's probably a little bit closer to the players, and he'll probably be able to maintain his job. But other than that, yeah, I think it's up to Doc.
One more question from King of Kings. He asked, "What do you?" We talk about nepotism. We're talking about AJ Griffin maybe coming over in a trade from the Atlanta Hawks. That didn't happen. What about Austin Rivers? I don't think he has a job right now. I know he's doing a lot of podcasting. Don White, somebody's a podcaster. Would you rather have Austin Rivers? Could you see Doc bringing in Austin to play over campaign?
To do what?
To do what?
We already
just
got
asking
that
the
role
question.
filled, man.
As an assistant coach or something?
No, to play.
Oh, you mean give him a jersey?
Yeah.
Nah, you playing right now. See now you playing. Now you playing. And
It's a family business.
You gonna bring in Austin.
Let me ask this. Is he better than Campaign? Is he better than Campaign?
At what?
Playing basketball.
But you got to understand, that's not the same position. We need a backup point guard who can at least handle the ball and be serviceable when Dame is out of the game, and that's not what Austin Rivers provides. That's not what he does. And we already got the guys that are kind of his position and do what he does and better than what Austin Rivers would provide in terms of Malik Beasley and Jay Crowder.
Okay, I'll ask you one more question. Is Austin Rivers a better defender at that position than Campaign?
Maybe.
I mean, but you ain't played ball in X amount of years. I don't know. When's the last time Austin Rivers played? Was it
last year?
22?
So
he did play last year.
He played with the Timberwolves last year. Yep.
Yeah. But no, you don't bring in Austin Rivers to this team.
I mean, if we get desperate, sure. But I'd rather, if you're gonna bring in Austin Rivers, it's got to be on like some 10-day type. Like you got to bring him in for tryout, and it's got to be like on some 10-day because if you sign that man for the rest of the season, that doesn't look good. You hit my man John Wall up before you do that.
Where's he at?
I mean, listen.
No.
They probably podcasting together. they probably podcasting
See,
together.
that's the John Wall's the name. Like Austin Rivers, I think still has. Again, I wouldn't bring him in, but I think he got more game in him. Because he knows a role. Like he has a role.
Yeah, we already got guys that know their role. So I think, you don't bring him in.
No, the Campaign. Again, the Bucks. John Horst sounds like he wants another guard in. I'm assuming he wants to replace Campaign. And again, I really, really hope Doc Rivers gives a long look at Andre Jackson Jr. and lets him get into the basketball game. I have a feeling that he's not going to, but I'd really like to see that from him. NFL Conference Championship weekend. Listen, man, you got people calling it the Black Super Bowl here with Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Over there, Chiefs, Ravens, and then the Lions and 49ers in the NFC. Who you got and why?
You know what? I would absolutely love to see the Ravens and the Lions in the Super Bowl. Because if you think of the Ravens and Lions Super Bowl in Vegas, boy, that is Black Super Bowl. Just because of the people that Detroit and Baltimore are going to bring. Oh my gosh, I can think. And just think about it. You're going to smell Black and Miles, menthols, Gators. Folks going to have them Steve Harvey suits from the mid-2000s and Cadillacs whipping around that town. What? Wood grain? Oh, come on, man. Vegas acting absolute fool. I would love to see Detroit and Baltimore in the Super Bowl. Having said that, I think Jared Goff kind of probably does struggle on the road. We'll struggle on the road, and I think that this Niners team having Debo back, this is a completely different Niners team than we saw last week. Debo was out for the majority of that game against Packers, so that really weakened that offense. But man, you get Debo back, you get that offense going. I just think it's a very, very long day. Plus, the Lions are not great rushing passer, and you got to put some pressure on Purdy. He doesn't do anything great to run the offense, but if you make it really easy for him to run that offense, it's going to be a long day for him.
Okay. Chris, it's funny because everybody, because so JT, you got a nasty echo.
Yeah, I heard it too. I tried to lower his volume on the stream. I don't know if it did. It's all good. We're about to wrap this thing up anyway. I'd love to see Lamar get a Super Bowl, but unfortunately, he's gonna have to face that guy, Pat Mahomes, and I think that this Chiefs defense actually leveled up from what they were during the regular season. Like, they're hitting and they're out there crushing people. And I love it. I love it. It's awesome to see them flying around. And I think we'll see what happens with Pacheco. He's obviously questionable or whatever, and Willie Gay's questionable. But those are two guys they're going to need. But it's hard for me to bet against Pat. It's hard, and I think this Chiefs offense is starting to figure it out too, especially with Pacheco. So I'm gonna take the Chiefs, and I'm gonna go to the Lions because Purdy is like your boy. Cam said that man's a game manager, so I'm gonna take the Lions and David Montgomery, Cincinnati, Ohio guy. Gotta stay true to the Southwest Ohio roots, and I think he's gonna run all over that 49ers run defense.
Yeah, I don't like. I just have a feeling that in that NFC game, I have a feeling Goff's luck's gonna run out. I just have a feel.
He's
I
been there
don't. I
before,
feel.
man. Hey,
Yeah, I know. I know he don't have. He'll have. He was there before with. Remember who was it? What's
is
Miss
that
Puff in his ear?
is
And you
that
don't
when they
remember
put up? Is
SpongeBob
that when
was.
they put up
Sean
3 points in the Super Bowl, or am I tripping?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well,
was awful,
yeah.
awful display.
He don't got Miss Puff in his ear giving him the driving instructions like he used to. But then yeah, you looking at here's all thing I'll say on this Ravens Chiefs. I agree with you. It's tough to bet against Patrick Mahomes, and I don't say I'm rooting for him. But I'd like to see Lamar Jackson in the Super Bowl. I think I'd like that. I don't care who wins, but. And I'm not a conspiracy. I don't believe in conspiracies. I don't believe in any of that kind of stuff. I think the games are the way they are. They happen. I don't believe in it. But if that Baltimore Kansas City game is close, you don't think the NFL wants the Swifty audience in the Super Bowl?
Mm,
They gon' they. I'm just saying.
right.
They want that man. They will
Wholeheartedly
crush. They
right.
will. You don't think they want to in the Super Bowl pan to the box and have Taylor Swift in there and Jason Kelsey with his shirt? That's what they want to see. And so I'm just saying. This. I'm
100%.
not saying they're gonna do it all game long, but I'm saying if Baltimore wins, they're gonna win. But if it's close and you get down the stretch, man, that fourth quarter, that Pat gonna go to the run the sideline, fall down, boom, 15 yards, you touched him. Up, they got 4th and 10. Driving that field, you throw it away. There's gonna be a phantom illegal contact. We're gonna keep this drive going. That's what that's what I'm seeing. So if Baltimore wants to win, it cannot be close. They're gonna have to convincingly win that football game. Otherwise, yeah, I would not want to come down to the end with Patrick Mahomes in any circumstance, but especially with a date to the Super Bowl on the line, and with all the extracurriculars that go on with Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift and all that. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a lot for the league to pass up. If you see Roger on the phone in the fourth quarter,
You already
you might
know.
make that call.
Roger in the referee's ears. Like, hey, you didn't see that hole? What hole? That hole. Oh, you didn't see that false start? Even though, you know what, man, I'm going to say this. I, the more and more I watch, the more and more I realize, I feel like somebody false starts on every drive. They don't always call it, but I feel like it's always somebody moving before the ball snap on the offensive line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
100%.
yeah. I see, you definitely see a lot of that going on. Let's see. So we'll be back. So again, if you listen, appreciate everybody listening to us, watching us tonight. Fun show. Not the greatest result, but the Bucks do lose at 112-100. It's all good. The Bucks will be okay. Back in action tomorrow night. Cream City crossover is back tomorrow night after Bucks Pelicans. You know how we do it. We keep coming with the post game shows, giving you the quality content that you need every single game. And then, of course, hey, catch us, please. 97.3 The Game, worldwide iHeartRadio tomorrow, 10 to noon. We will be there on your T's and Q's. 97.3 The Game, and if you're in the Milwaukee area, and then also if you are in the if you're in your car, go to get the iHeart app, or not in the car, but if you're just doing whatever you're doing, you doing some Saturday cleaning, get the iHeart app. All your T's and Q's will be there. Like I said, live. Well, go to 973. The station will be live, and also Bucks in 60 starts back. Nice announcement. 2 nights a week for the most part. Gonna be 2 nights a week from 6 to 7 on Mondays and Wednesdays. Bucks in 60. We're back talking Bucks on 97.3 The Game. Also have post game for you, so that'll be fun. Listen, just more content, man. We're the hardest working men who do it, because that's what we do. We want to bring you the content and bring you everything that you need. So, Bucks, we want to thank our sponsors as well tonight. Law Office of Daily M. Johnson. We need defense off of the court. He's giving you that criminal defense serving Central and South Central Wisconsin. Call him up, attorney law office Daly Johnson, 608-893-8370. Need that defense. 112 100. This has been a Cream City Media Group production. Well, no, before I said, any final words on Bucks Cavs tonight?
Bad shooting night.
Friday night.
Yep.
Enjoy Friday night. I mean,
okay.
It was what it was. We saw it. Everybody enjoy Friday night. We'll give you what's the corporate term? We'll give you a few minutes back.
Give your time back. Yeah, you know what corporate term I hate is mission critical. I mean, ain't nothing. We ain't dropping no bombs. No, ain't nothing mission critical going on. This meeting next week.
We see all kind of weird stuff like so we got some things in flight right now. What?
Where?
Hey, not in the air.
Yeah.
Circle back, all of that.
Circle back, yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Back. Yeah, let's put that in the parking lot while we, we'll revisit that at a later time.
Yeah, I can't do it, man. I'd be killing me doing it. Mission critical. I'll say.
Mission critical. You know what my favorite is?
What's that one?
When they're like, oh, it's a global issue. Daggone global issue, my G. This is like, no, it's just a problem for numerous individuals within the department.
Right. Okay. What's that?
Mission critical.
Mission critical, man. All right, we blasting off here. All right, let's again, it's been a Cream City Media Group production. Appreciate everybody for watching us tonight. From the Guru, Trey Crosby III.
JC.
Chris King.
Again, come listen to us tomorrow night. Be back at it. Till then, don't take no wood nickels.